Alright guys, so as everyone knows, Assassination is completely blasting on Season 2. So today we're gonna have a quick guide just to see everything that changed on Assassination, what talents that you need to be using, what stats that everyone should be aiming for, and all the changes that happened on Assassination. So stick around and let's get right onto the video so you guys don't miss any time. Right guys, so we can start with the rotation over here, and to be really honest, it doesn't change almost anything. We still want to start with the improved growth, get to max combo points so we can apply Rupture and apply the second improved growth, use our trinket and apply Death Mark and Kingsbane for the full burst. After that you want to spread the bleeds with Crimson Tempests and just blast with the Venoms until the burst is out. Of course, one really important thing that we need to be aware now, it's the Deathstalker's Mark, because we are now playing Deathstalker instead of Fatebound, and Deathstalker's Mark, it's one of the most important things that give us a lot of prior damage, so we always need to be aware if we have the Deathstalker's Mark up or not. There are some min-maxes that you guys can do on the dungeons with the Deathstalker's Marks. For example, if you guys see a mob almost dying, for example, if he is around like 10% HP and you know it's gonna die within the 3 next seconds, you can apply the Deathstalker's Mark to that specific mob with Mark of Death. And when the mob dies, you get the Darkest Night buff. So you can basically play with that and have a lot more Darkest Nights up and play with that basically. So that's a min-max that you guys can do while playing Assassination Deathstalker. Other min-max that you guys can do, it's when you guys see that your bleeds are almost expiring and you guys know that spread the bleeds, it takes time. So instead of applying the bleeds or reapplying the bleeds on the last second, you guys can reapply the bleeds a little bit earlier, so you have more uptime on the bleeds. So that's another min-max that you guys can do on Assassination. I'll advise you to do that if you guys, for example, are gonna send the burst and have the bleeds around 15 seconds duration. You want to reapply the bleeds so it has more duration and you don't have to reapply them during the burst window. So that's one of the things that you guys can do and plan around that. But as you guys can see over here, the rotation is pretty much the same. The damage of Assassination now, it's really good. We are doing insane amount of damage even outside of the burst window. We have a lot of sustain right now. So Assassination is on a really good spot at the moment. But for AoE, that's basically how we can put it. That's not much that changed over here. And we can now see how we are performing on single target and what changed. So over here on single target, the rotation on the beginning, it's literally the same from AoE. It doesn't change anything. The only thing that changed, it's the energy regeneration. We don't have as much energy regeneration on single target as we have on AoE. So we need to be a lot more aware on how to manage the energy well, basically. After you send the burst and finish the burst, you want to wait a little bit until you have 200 energy, so you can start your Venom chain. After that, what you want to do, it's, you see that Venom aura over there on the right, that bar that I have on the screen. You need to wait until that Venom aura it's reaching 1 second, so 1 to 0 seconds, so you can send another Venom, and that's how you basically maintain the energy on Assassination right now. On AoE, you're gonna have a lot more energy regeneration, so you don't need to wait as long as you need to wait on single target, but that's basically how we maintain the energy right now. They really didn't want us to cancel the Venom Aura like we did on Season 1, and they really want us to play slow on Assassination, and they are really managing to do that. So we now, to maintain the energy, we really need to play slow, and we do more damage playing slow than spamming abilities and having a lot of downtime because we don't have any energy or TSLTs, and we cannot do damage because we always need to wait to press any Venom or to reapply the bleeds. So it's very important that you guys do this Venom chain, and always try to reach around 200 energy so you can start the chain, and whenever you need to reapply the bleeds, the chain will naturally drops off because you don't have the time to reapply the bleeds and to accumulate the combo points to spend on the last second of the Venom Aura. Most of the times you're not gonna have the combo points for that. So when you reapply the bleeds, you just need to wait again to get 200 energy so you can restart the Venom chain. There's another min-max that you guys can do here on Assassination while playing Deathstalker, which is taking advantage of unshakable drive. You basically can play Fan of Knives on single target, and whenever you have three stacks of unshakable drive, you can send a mutilate that will deal 150% more damage. And that's another min-max that you can play on Assassination. On the burst window, you don't really want to do that because Fan of Knives almost doesn't give you any combo points on single target. I wouldn't advise you at least to do that on the burst window, because you're not gonna utilize the burst window at its maximum. So take this with a grain of salt, and that's another min-max that you guys can do here on Assassination. Alright guys, other thing that I want to talk about, it's the macros. And for Assassination, we are using basically the same macros that we're using on Subtlety. On Subtlety there's 3 or 4 macros, different macros that you can use to enter dance, but we are actually not using those. And the macros that we are using are this one over here, which is the death mark with the light's potential. Then we use the trick of trade, the same that we used on Subtlety, and the other one that has the kick macro. Keep in mind that every time that you use the kick macro, you have some bleeds. The bleeds will disappear from the CMD. Something in the macro makes the bleeds disappear. But for the macros, that's basically it. Alright, the next thing that we need to talk, it's the talent. And every talent, it's gonna be on the description down below of the video, you guys don't need to worry as always. And we actually have some talents that we need to explain here. The best single target build, like completely single target, full single target, it's this one over here. That's that everyone is using right now. The build for raid, but with a little bit of AoE, it's this one over here. It changed a little bit. And the best one that everyone is using right now, at least on low keys, on Assassination, it's this one over here, with sudden demise. After we get to higher keys, I believe 19s, 20s, 21s, I believe the best one, it's gonna be the same as the raid build, AoE build, which is this one over here. It's the recommended one. So we still might need to test this out a little bit, but I believe this one is going to be the best one when we get to the higher keys. If you guys want to play Fatebound, you guys can play Fatebound. It literally plays the same, just has around 2 to 3% less DPS on Fatebound. But if you don't like play Deathstalker because of all the min-maxes that you need to do, you can play Fatebound, which is a lot more simple. All of our talent trees are going to be on the description down below of the video, so you guys don't need to worry. And that's literally it for the talents. If you guys want to know more in depth about the talents on Assassination, I would advise you to go watch Whispyr's video. It's going to be on the description of the video, don't need to worry. If you guys want to know more in depth about Assassination, I would advise you to watch that video, because he really knows a lot about Assassination and explains really in depth why you need to use one talent and not use another one, and which situations you should be changing talents and swapping things basically. So it's a very good video. He's a really good Assassination player, so I'll advise you all to watch. We're gonna show the Wowhead's guide for Assassination, and it was Whispyr that made this guide over here. And over here we're now gonna see the stats that we need right now. So we need crit, because it increases our combo point generation through Seal of Fate, as well as our energy regeneration if we are using Dashing Scudder. On these talent trees we are actually not using Dashing Scudder, so on this part we are actually not getting any benefits on the energy regeneration by having crit. After that you want Haste, because Haste increases our energy regeneration and causes Dot to tick faster. After that you want Mastery, because Mastery is of course a simple overall buff, because it's our main source of damage. And for last you want versatility. Yes, so that's basically it for the guide. This was just to show you everything that changed on the Assassination. Of course I didn't go really in depth on the talents and everything, but you guys can see Whispyr's video as we talked about earlier. I really like the position of Assassination Rogue right now. We are doing an intense amount of damage, and I really believe we're not gonna go away anytime soon. So thank you again all for watching, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you again for watching. My name is Mushget, and I see you all on the next video.